This is episode 545, Grief, Injustice, and the Courage to Speak with Mary. Welcome to Life Coaching with Christine Hassler, a space where truth and love come together to guide you back to your truest self. Hi, I'm Christine, a master coach, author, and spiritual psychologist. For over 20 years, I've supported people through the deep work of letting go, waking up, and coming home to who they truly are. Each week, you'll hear an unedited, unscripted coaching session with someone moving through a challenge or block in their life. These are tender and powerful conversations where deep healing happens in real time. Even though I'm coaching someone else, you will hear yourself in their story. This is a place where you will feel seen and supported and walk away with insight, emotional relief, and tools you can apply in your own life. Let's dive into today's session. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Before we begin this episode, I want to offer a gentle heads up or trigger warning that in the loss of this conversation, there's discussion of the loss of a child, someone taking their own life, and the profound and lasting damage that can be caused by extreme narcissistic abuse. So if any of those topics feel too tender for you right now, please, of course, take care of yourself first. Skip this episode, or you can always come back to it when you're ready. That said, I also found this conversation to be full of hope, inspiration, support. And so it's one of the many reasons that conversations like this one are why the podcast exists, because the things we don't talk about have power over us. And Mary, my guest today, is someone who has chosen to speak, not from a place of bitterness or helplessness, but from a place of courage and vulnerability. Mary has been through the unthinkable, truly the unthinkable. She lost her son, and in the aftermath of that loss, she found herself facing a level T of cruelty and betrayal from her ex-husband and father of that child that is incomprehensible. Behavior that really speaks to what can happen when someone with extreme narcissistic traits is in the equation. I want to say clearly here, I'm not a clinician, and nothing in this episode is meant to be a clinical diagnosis of anyone. What I am is someone who's worked with thousands of people over 2 decades, and I know the damage these dynamics cause. I also know that one of the most important things we can do for ourselves and for others is to name what we experience and refuse to be silenced by it or shamed by it. One more thing before we dive in. Mary is currently navigating a legal situation and is unable to afford representation. So if you're a lawyer or know someone who'd be willing to take on her case pro bono, we can share the state she's in. Please reach out to my team at assist@christinehassler.com. You may know or be the person that can help her. And just want to thank Mary again for being here and for everyone listening. All right, before we dive in, I want to thank my sponsor for this week, Poluva. They're a 5-toe minimalist shoe, which offers an authentic barefoot style experience, but with sufficient cushioning to use for any manner of everyday movement, fitness, and athletic activities. Poluvas are also incredibly stylish, so you get a barefoot shoe that looks pretty good. Poluvas are the solution to the damage and destruction caused by modern shoes, the elevation of the heel, excessive cushioning and support features, and toes crammed together. The result is 77% of Americans suffering from chronic pain, like bunions, raise my hand to that, corns, blisters, so on and so forth. I mean, sometimes I'm amazed at the tennis shoes people wear. They're like heels. So Poluva's best of class advantage is the individual 5-toe articulation, a separate slot for each of your toes, which is pretty cool. It allows for the correct dynamic movement of the foot, which is impossible when toes are all in a single box, even a wide toe box. So when you put on a pair of Poluvas, you're getting an automatic foot strengthening effect, a toe spacer effect, and a healing effect from the damage caused by regular shoes. I want you to try a pair of Poluvas with no risk, and you'll quickly realize these are the most comfortable and beneficial shoes you've ever worn. They're designed to make you feel like we're walking barefoot on a putting green. So go to Poluva.com, that's Peluva.com, and use the code Christine for 10% off your first pair. Again, Peluva.com, and use the code Christine for 10% off your first pair. Mary, welcome to the show. How can I help?
Oh, hello. Well, first of all, thank you. I'm so grateful I have this opportunity to be coached today.
My pleasure.
Well, what I'd like to find some kind of answers in terms of life coaching and maybe a little bit spiritually as well, because I've seen you are also helping a lot in this area. So the situation I'm in at the moment is involving my son who passed away 9 months ago.
Oh my goodness.
And
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. And my ex-husband, we divorced a year and a half, more or less.
Okay.
And what happened is that following it was my son committed suicide, and we were grieving separately, my ex and I. And then he decided he would set up a foundation in the name of his son, his bereaved son. And I wasn't really consulted on this subject, and I did not mind at all. And then recently I met with a mom who knew my son, and she shared with me that my ex went to the high school and following his death, and he did a speech about the foundation he set up. And I was listening to this, and then during the conversation, she shared that he said that our son passed away due to a rare brain disease. Mm-hmm. And
Wow.
I was very shocked. I was really really appalled, and it took me a few days to recover and to digest. And then I went on the foundation website, and I saw that he had put a picture of me without my consent. And then clearly he had written the origin of his death being a rare brain disease, which is absolutely not the truth, because our son was a smart high school student. He did not suffer from anything, not even special needs or anything. He was just a normal, smart, very lively, successful high schooler. And so I thought, and then the aim of the foundation is to do some research on rare brain diseases. And my ex-husband is in the pharmaceutical field. And so I kind of thought I cannot, following having a conversation with one of my best friend, she said, but you can't stay like this, Diane. You can't not express your voice. And I told her I was scared. And she said, but what are you scared of? And I said, I don't know. I'm just scared of him because I was scared like this for 18 years during my marriage.
Yeah.
And I always was fearful of saying my truth. And so she said, but if you want to, I can, if you agree, we can, if you ask him and he agrees to talk to you, I can come to you and we can walk together with him and me by your side so you can speak to him. And it gave me such a rush of energy and hope. And so I said, no, it's really, I thanked her, and I braced myself, and I called my ex and I said, would it be possible to have a word with you regarding the foundation of our son that you set up?
Yeah.
And then he declined, and he said, texted me, send me an email, and I will look at it when I have time. And it's been 11 days now. He hasn't opened it. This email was just a peaceful email of a mom who just wants to do right by her son, that my son was going through a lot. He was a perfectionist. He was, the personality type that I discovered through you, the 5 personality patterns.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a rigid and merging type.
Yeah.
And a perfectionist. He always wanted to do his best. He always wanted to do the right thing. Combined with a teenager's mind, meaning
not fully developed. Yeah,
exactly, with hormones going on. And so when in his today he would be 18. And when he was going through a lot, like 6 months prior to him taking his life, he went through peer pressure, then bullying, then he was about to prepare for the college, record with all the, doing his best to get the right college. And he was also under a lot of pressure from his dad. And this had been going on for years and years. At the time, I also spoke to your husband when I went to a retreat, to your retreat in Boone, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And I remember you gave me good advice, and following this and speaking to Stephanus, I talked to Louis, and Louis was already in such not in a good place, and he did not take my offer, but he was already going through all this.
All that. Oh my goodness, Mary, I am so sorry. I just deeply feel for the pain that you have endured and are still enduring. I can't think of anything worse than knowing your child's suffering and then having your child take their life and having to deal with so many levels and layers of grief. I'll come back to the husband and the foundation and the lie. I want to just ask you, do you have support? Who's supporting you both personally and professionally on dealing with the shock and the grief that you've been going through?
So I've been supported by my 2 best friends.
Okay.
They've been such a source of nurturing, and also I've a couple of months before Louis passed away, I met someone, and he when Louis passed away, I told him that I wasn't sure we could stay together for what happened, and he said that he wanted to stay by my side and support me. So it's been kind of a journey as well, because there's been such a mix of emotions between a grief and meeting a new person.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And now we have ex-husband. So I really want to support you in the way that you want to be supported and focus on what you would find most helpful in this call. Would that be talking about the situation with the ex-husband? Would that be talking more about your son? What would support you the most? What do you feel like you, when you booked this session, really wanted to receive?
Well, I guess it's quite entangled, both my ex-husband and my son, because I probably would need you to show me my blind spot in this area, or at least, your opinion, because I don't know if it's me wanting things to be the way I see things, or if it is just.
Let me ask you this. What do you think your son would want you to do?
I guess that's my question that I've been really wanting an answer to, because I don't see how my son, if he was alive, if his brother, because luckily we also have another son together. So I know my Louis, if he was in in his brother's shoes, if he would see this as a betrayal, because to me, that's how I see things. I see that his dad is hiding the truth and monetizing his son's death.
Yes.
And it is for me profoundly wrong, but it's almost very so bad. It's so bad because what I wanted to ask my husband, my ex-husband, as a minimum, is to take away my picture because I do not want to be part of this.
Yeah.
And also, as a minimum, not to indicate the origin of his death, because then my ex-husband would have been able to keep monetizing whatever he wanted. But here he is proactively, intentionally putting a lie black on white, and he is associating it because it's linked to our son's memorial. So he's doing it in a way that is very evil, very. And my son, I'm not sure he would like people to say that he had a rare brain disease when he was perfectly fine. He was in a very good health. He was a very handsome young boy, but he suffered from depression and from a burnout, which is entirely different from a rare brain disease.
Yes, I hear you, and I validate you, and I agree with you. And I think it's, perhaps your husband has some shame. I think when someone takes their own life, the people around them may start to ask, what could I have done? But that does not excuse or justify a flat out lie and monetizing your son's death. So I do not feel you are overreacting. And I'm imagining, and I'm hesitant, to speak anything about your son or for your son because I don't know him and didn't know him, and I want to really honor him. But I can imagine that someone who was being bullied so much so that he felt like he couldn't manage it would not want to see his mother be bullied.
Yes.
Did your husband have any diagnosed, or did you suspect any disorders?
For him or for my son?
For your ex-husband.
Well, I can clearly say, but it took me many, many years because I did not even know it existed, that he's a narcissist and a sociopath.
Yeah. So, and with narcissists and sociopaths, you can speak your truth all day long. They generally don't listen. But your rights are being violated here. And I'm not a lawyer, but I don't think what he's doing is legal. I mean, it sounds like embezzlement. Like it sounds like, well, I don't know if embezzlement's the right word, but it does not sound legal in any way. So my encouragement would be to get a lawyer.
So I really thought, I put so much thought into this because first of all, I really don't have the financial means to start a financial battle. He's a wealthy man. And the path I wanted to take was more the path of having my voice heard and having the minimum, like
your picture being taken down and
yes. And then, of course, in an ideal world and scenario, I would like to set up a platform for parents to be able, parents who have children like teenagers who are going through peer pressure, depression, burnout, to find solutions, something open where parents can exchange their success stories so that when their teenagers is really going through a lot, they can, see that other parents have found a solution, and that gives them hope and courage where they can start searching and somewhere and avoid what happened to my son.
Yeah. I hear you. And I would love to go more spiritual with you, and maybe we'll get there, but I just want to talk out what's kind of in the 3D level right now. So, and maybe there's even a lawyer listening who would be willing to, because this happens a lot of times on the show. Someone's listening, feels really compelled to be of service and offers lower rate or pro bono type of services. So maybe when we're offline and we're not recording, you can tell me what state you live in case someone's willing to support you. But there's a part of me that's curious, is if part of standing in your power and speaking up for yourself is, for lack of a better term, not letting him get away with this. I mean, he's capitalizing off your son's death. He's lying. And that would be pretty easy for any lawyer to go after. Like, he doesn't really have anything to fight for here. He's doing something really wrong and getting away with it. And perhaps you'd get the bare minimum. Perhaps you'd get more. And perhaps that money could be the thing that gives you the financial foundation to begin this incredible project you feel compelled to begin. Because you will need some capital to do that. So what comes up for you when I say that?
Well, I guess
Are you still really scared of him?
Well, the thing is, when I wrote him a letter, I put so much thought into it and look at every angle of this letter.
But Mary, if he's a narcissist and or a sociopath, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, you can't project how you would receive a letter like that onto someone who, like, that is not the world he lives in. Like,
yes.
He won't respond to it.
Yes. And my fear is that because I'm still a bit in fear, is that when I had written a few letters, I put it into Perplexity, which is the equivalent of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But it goes deeper, and then I entered what are the different ways someone with his profile get back to me.
Yeah.
And then because one of the first letters mentioned a deadline, mentioned it was more like coming from a legal letter. And then the response I got from Perplexity was very, very scary. Is that he could really try what he said he would do when I told him I wanted to divorce. He promised he would crush me. So, yes.
Yeah, he sounds like a very dangerous person. And so I really want to respect that you have been in this dance with him way longer than I have. I'm just learning about this. And you need to do what feels safest to you. If you do want anything with the site to change, I would encourage you to have a lawyer fight that battle, not you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd say that and I think that's also one of the reasons wanted to be aired with you is that if by any chance the universe is sending me a pro bono lawyer, then I will go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And if I just shift gears out of the physical 3D and into the miraculous, universal, spiritual, it doesn't matter what he does. What matters most is what you do. And there's also the option to trust that he is creating his own karma. He's making his own decisions right now. And you can honor your son in a more honest and loving and truthful way. You can broadcast the truth, or you can just, it can be enough that you know the truth. There's also the choice that, you separate fully from the whole situation and trust that it will be taken care of in another way. Back to like 3D kind of reality, the protectiveness in me, if you do decide to pursue trying to get this, what I think is an illegal and untrue foundation down, that you have legal support. And if you feel your energy would be better served to honor Louis in a different way, then that's a beautiful choice as well.
Yes. Yes.
Because it sounds like the people closest to him know the truth. Is that right?
Yes and no, because there is someone who has already given his foundation 25,000, and he was a father figure for Louis, and it kind of made me really sad to see this and question, does he know what is happening? Did he really take a proper look at the website? Does he know the truth? And I met with this person at the hospital when Louis was in a coma, and that's where we got to know each other a little bit more. And I know he really, really loved Louis as a son almost. And I feel like I would like to talk to him and see whether or not he sees things as I see them, or if he's just making this donation out of love for Louis.
Well, if this man did love your son, I think he deserves to know the truth.
Yes.
And I'm going to, again, defer to your feeling about that. But, what can happen to a person when they're with someone as dysfunctional and ill as your ex-husband is you can start to doubt yourself. You can really lose your own inner compass. Decades of gaslighting and abuse create quite an impression on the nervous system and on our sense of self. So my guess is that as you're grieving, as you're navigating this new relationship, as you're dealing with the shock and trauma of everything, you're also unraveling being in a very toxic, unhealthy marriage for a big part of your life. And you're still feeling into like who you really are because you've been in a survival pattern for quite a while.
Yes. Yes, that's right. You are completely right.
Yeah. And so back to something we talked about before, can ask, like, what is my intuition telling me here? Is this fear? Is this me, fawning because that's what I had to do to survive? Is this suppressing my own voice and my own needs? Because the only way that you can survive in a dynamic like that is if you completely lose yourself.
Yes, that's how I lived for all these years.
And I really want to acknowledge you, Mary, like you got out. So what that tells me is there is a strength and a courage and a knowingness and a will that you possess. That is who you are. That is who you are. And that is always yours.
Yes.
And so I encourage you to, with as much intention and devotion as you possibly can, to keep tapping into that part. Like, tap into that part, that woman who said, enough, enough, and make your choices from that place. And make sure you're supported, make sure you're protected, right? Like that's the thing with, if he is indeed a sociopath, you kind of got to be one step ahead.
Yes. And I think that's where I don't think I'm strong enough to keep the battle I've went through during my divorce.
Yeah. Well, maybe the first step, and again, this is not advice, I'm just tossing noodles on a wall. Maybe the first step is to talk to this person who is like a father figure. And maybe when this person knows the truth, perhaps, they made quite a large donation. Perhaps they might take action. But it felt like a very intuitive feeling to reach out to that man. And so maybe that's where you start.
Oh, that's, I really like this. Yes. Yes, I like this. And also, I think that the opportunity you gave me by this coaching is giving me like maybe an opportunity to find help if it's meant to be as well. Yes.
Yeah. If it's meant to be, but the very least, like, it is wrong what he's doing. Do you have, just in case someone's listening, do you have a death certificate that says cause of death?
Yes, I have it.
So very clear that it was not a brain disorder.
No, it's not. Yes.
Okay. Oh, Mary. I just want to wrap you up.
Yes.
In a protective bubble, just hold you for hours. You have been to hell and back several times. And I just want to remind you, you are worthy of love. You are worthy of good. You are worthy of healthy, like and worthy of being happy. I think that's a tough thing when you have what happened to your son. There probably will always be a piece of you that is always grieving and always feels missing. And in those moments where you're with your friend or you're doing something you love or you're with this new man in your life, I just want to remind you it's okay to let the joy in too.
Thank you. Thank you so much for these kind words. And
what you just listened to is the kind of conversation that reminds me why I do this work. Mary, I just want to speak directly to you first. What you've been through is unthinkable. The loss of your son is something no parent should ever have to carry. And anyone listening that's lost a child, there are just no words. And I want you to know your grief is very valid. Your pain is real. And it may always be with you. And we talked about this, that it's also valid to feel your joy and to feel the love and support of your friends and the new boyfriend and the people showing up for you, that is part of the healing process. It's okay to let that in. It's okay to feel good. Receiving love and support in the wake of loss is not a betrayal of your grief. It's part of how you survive it. And I'm really saying that to you, Mary, and to anyone out there who's dealing with any kind of grief. Sometimes there can be guilt of having a day when you don't cry or don't think about it or feel good. It doesn't mean you love the person any less. So for everyone listening, I want to be thoughtful about how I frame what Mary is navigating, because I think it's easy from the outside to hear a situation like this and think, fight, take him down. It's obvious, it's no brainer. What he's doing is wrong. But here's what we all have to remember. When someone has spent years, for Mary, decades, in a relationship with a person who operates the way Mary's ex does, with a pathology, basically, they didn't just lose the relationship. They lose themselves piece by piece over time in ways that, are often invisible until you're standing on the other side of it, wondering who you even are anymore. And then the grief stands on top of that. And grief does a number on the psyche in ways that are profound and nonlinear and not on anyone else's timeline. And I'm not just talking about the grief of the loss of her son. I'm talking about the grief of the loss of herself in the relationship. So what looks like an easy decision from the outside is completely different from inside that kind of exhaustion and years of abuse. So there's no forcing it. There's no rushing it. And my coaching to Mary and to anyone who's survived this kind of dynamic, it's not about pushing toward a particular outcome. It's about helping her come back to herself enough to make a choice from her own strength, not from fear or depletion. And also make a choice knowing the type of psyche that she's dealing with on the other side. And that's why it's so important to be surrounded by people that understand, in this case, narcissism, if that is indeed the diagnosis, or that kind of personality. So that said, I did lay out 2 paths clearly. She can pursue legal representation and work to get the site down, or she can make peace with the fact that he will meet his maker in his own time and that it's not her job to be the instrument of that accountability. Both value discernment. And I genuinely hope that the right lawyer finds this episode and reaches out, because this isn't just about Mary. What her ex-husband did capitalizes on the death of his own child and takes advantage of well-meaning people who are giving money in good faith. And that matters beyond just this one family. So what I want you to walk away with from Mary's story, from this conversation, from all of it, is the importance of speaking up, of getting support, of not letting shame or exhaustion or the complexity of a situation keep you silent when the silence is really costing you something, perhaps even your life. So if you are in or have been in a relationship with someone like this, please get out or get help to get out. If you're in the beginning of a relationship and you're beginning to suspect signs of abuse or dysfunction or narcissism, please do not think you can change that person. You cannot. You cannot. And it's not because you're weak or you don't love enough. It's because it's impossible. So back to Mary, you're braver than you know. Our hearts are with you. And my heart is with all of you. Thank you for listening to this episode. I know this particular episode tugged at many feelings. And so if you feel like you need a walk or a deep breath or a cry or putting on your favorite song and dancing around, I encourage you, give yourself that. And maybe remember at the highest truth is that love will prevail. Love, in the end, always does prevail. Sending you so much love and many blessings. Until next time. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Life Coaching. I hope something you heard today resonated with you and helped you to see yourself with more clarity and compassion. Remember, every shift, no matter how small you think it is part of your healing. If this episode supported you, please consider sharing it with a friend or leaving a review. It means the world to me. If you'd like to connect with me, come say hi on Instagram at Christine Hassler. And if you feel called to be coached live on the show, you can apply at christinehassler.com/waitlist. For courses, retreats, and more resources to support your journey, visit christinehassler.com. You're not alone in this journey, and I'm grateful to walk it with you. Until next time.